All right, so there's the wreath all finished, but it's really plain, and so I think it needs to be decorated a bit. So what I'm going to do is I am going to first grab a strand of that gold thread that I used for, or the gold yarn that I used for Santa's belt, and I am going to just bring it around and coil it around the wreath all the way around. So I'm holding one end of the thread with my thumb, and then I'm just taking the other end, and evenly I am just wrapping it around and around the wreath and letting the strands fall and lay where they seem like they are the most comfortable, if that makes any sense. Sometimes it's between leaves, sometimes it's just on top of leaves, whatever it is, but you want them to feel snug and secure. So once I'm done with coiling that gold thread around and around the wreath, I tie them off at the back with a triple knot, and then I clip off one side but leave the other strand of yarn. I'll show you why later. Now I'm grabbing that chain that we created for the bow. Okay, it's another gold chain that will go on the front side of the wreath. So to create that, I make a sort of M shape. It's just like tying shoelaces. So remember the whole bunny ears thing when you learned how to tie shoelaces? That's what you want to do with making this bow. You're going to make it into an M shape. So you've got the two loops or the two bunny ears, and then you're going to wrap them around each other and pull one of the loops through that circle. Okay, so once you've got the bow made, you just adjust it until it looks the right shape that you like and how long you want the two loops and how long you want the two ends of the bow. So now you're going to go ahead and take the thread that you left on the piece that you already coiled around the wreath. That's the thread you're going to use to fasten the bow onto the wreath. So I just cut the ends off of the two edges of the bow. We're not using those. It would be too difficult to try to weave them up through a chain stitch. So we're just going to use this piece that we left over from the weaved thread. Okay, so let's find where we want the bow. Okay, place it on top. Go in from the back to the front of the wreath. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and stitch around that fastening center part of the bow. So we're going to go, first we're going to go ahead and take a stitch here at the base of the bow where that connecting spot is in the center so that it attaches the bow down to the wreath. And then after that, we're going to just take that same thread and we're going to just go over and over and over again onto that, across that fastening center part of the bow. Okay, so just going around it, but attaching it down to the leaves. And you may need to continue tweaking that bow to make sure it stays the way that you want it to look. And just keep going around until you feel like it's really nice and secure on there and it's not going anywhere. Okay, once it's all nice and snug, bring the thread back to the back side and then tie it off. Okay, after that we're going to grab our red yarn. We are going to do some French knot holly berries. All right, so I go in through a center hole so that I don't see the knot of the red on the back, but it's going to be on the inside of the work. Wrap the thread around the needle 3 times, going in to a spot next to where the thread is coming out, but not in the same spot. Otherwise, your knot's going to just go straight into your work and you're not actually going to have a knot. All right, so that's what creates that French knot. And we're going to do this all the way around the wreath in random spots. So you don't want it to really look like a pattern per se. Maybe you'll put a couple next to each other, or you'll just put, you'll skip around, however you want to do it. But I just go ahead and randomly place these all the way around my wreath. Okay, I'll meet you at the end of that. All right, so I finished the French knots. I've tied off the red yarn and it looks just how I want it. But Santa needs one more thing. It would not be Santa and the turtle doves without turtle doves. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Thanks, guys.